The final race here in round 8 is underway.
Yeah, Jimmy Henderson pulling that hole shot in that United Rentals ride, number 44. As there's Jimmy Henderson just clicking off laps. Oh, Mamer goes up on the bicycle. Has to downshift and go back after CJ Greaves now. Now the mandatory competition caution. The final one of the weekend has come out now.
Henderson looking pretty out front. Sandwich between the two Greaves trucks on this restart.
Nice restart by Jimmy Henderson though, Shane. He wasn't sleeping at all. He took off, shot out of a cannon. Look at that rut just carry that truck around.
Yeah, you saw the 44 just snap around that corner. We see him post on social media all the time about how much testing he puts in.
Watch this. CJ's gonna try to break underneath him. Such a textbook move.
Wow, Henderson with a little bit of push. Henderson had all 4 tires locked up. Who's got the acceleration on the backstretch? Looks like Henderson has the advantage.
Push it, and that's what you need to do, especially in the Pro 4. Oh, he hit the tractor tire.
Wow, and then Greaves piled into the back of him, and Greaves just cut a right front tire. Greaves with a little bit of a push. That's gonna open the door. Here comes the wild man.
Yeah, Chenny drove right across Johnny Greaves' truck and tried to seal the deal.
More contact between the wild man and Johnny.
He's gonna take win number 3 here in 2023.
Big time drive by Jimmy Henderson. Fought off all those charges from CJ Greaves. Cole Mamer, a season best second place finish, and the wild man. Man, that was classic Adrian Chenny there, just laying it down for that second half, pulling out all the stops. No doubt some of the longtime fans of the wild man loving that as well, but what a day for Jimmy Henderson. Well, he's won on a big track at Crandon. He won in a rain race in round 4 at Crandon. Now we come here to the bull ring at Dirt City Motorplex, and turns out Henderson can win at this type of track too.
Yeah, and that shows a lot for him and his team. And here we go, and listen to the horsepower out of these Pro 2s.
Looked like an excellent jump there by the 67 Vision canopy machine of Corey Winter. Man, Thomas tried to stick his nose back on the inside. Winter says no way. He slams the door.
Man, look at how heavy that dirt is. Talked about the roost. Oh, Kyle Kleiman goes up on the berm. He 50-50 grinds. He got shoved out of the way.
Yeah, you had to drive in the grass quite a distance there. Otherwise, he would have been jumping off about a 6-foot-tall berm. And more trouble, Kincaid into the dirt berm. Not sure what led to that, but he is high-centered on that berm.
Kincaid stuck. He's teeter-tottering, going in the back section. He's trying to dig those tires to get himself out, but he's stuck.
Yeah, he's big-time stuck up there. There's no way he's driving out of there under his own power.
Watch as Ricky G, oh, he puts it up on the bicycle, caught a run, sets it back down.
Now our lead pack getting a little bit more stretched out. Look at Grabowski. He was sent around down in the GoPro corner after Cooper Tires flyaway.
Well, look at this. Kyle Kleiman from Wilson, Michigan has moved into the top 3.
Kleiman squeezes past Ricky G.
That kid can drive anything, Kyle Kleiman. He's won over 19 races out of a possible 26 in Pro Light, so he knows he belongs in Pro 2.
Well, we've reached the halfway point really quick. We're going to check in trackside with Haley Shanley. What's up, Haley?
Well, thank you very much, Haley. We're going back, green flag racing.
That right front tire on the 78 of Gutierrez. That is big trouble for him.
Kleiman shedding body panels. Oh, Bobby Brand off the track.
Yeah, he is stuck pretty well on that dirt berm up there. We'll see if he can get himself untangled.
Yeah, Shane, he's going to get the job done. He's going to be a happy race car driver. Number 44, Mickey Thomas, going to win round 10.
His 3rd win on the season. Corey Winter across the line in 2nd will hold on to the points lead. But Ryan Beat having a tough day, finishing 5th. That's going to lose him some ground in that points chase. And how about Kleiman, first weekend out in 2023, finds his way onto the box here in round 10.
advantage in the last race of the day. Here we go, Shane.
Excellent start by CJ Greaves from that inside lane. Oh, and Cheney is in trouble. He almost went all the way around, and Henderson almost went around trying to avoid him. And look at Carlson way off the racetrack.
Yeah, Carlson got off that track. Now he finds himself dead last on the start of this race. That dust is flying around. Oh, Johnny Greaves off the track into the berm.
Not quite sure what led to that. Looks like he just lost control and it sent him all the way out to that dirt berm on the outside of Cemetery Turn, and now he is stuck high center.
Kyle Cheney is hunting down CJ Greaves.
Still looking for a way around. He showed a wheel to the inside in turn one. Now he's going to hunt the bottom and the left-hander. Cheney just trying to put something together here.
That halfway point is just around the corner. Here it is.
Oh,
look at this, Henderson
trying to put the move on Cheney late in that first half run, and he'll fall just short. Well, we're going to get back to business here. The final race of the weekend, Pro 4, and we're in the second half. Henderson really aggressive, trying to get to the inside of Cheney down in turn one.
Kyle Cheney trying to dive to the bottom. There's going to be no grip there. He had to stay to the outside. Look at that bonsai pass by Henderson.
Henderson's going to get the job done now. Nothing but real estate between himself and CJ Greaves. Man, Henderson almost put that line together through the gravel pit, but we have a full-blown race for the lead on our hands. A little bit more contact as they went over the right-hand turn. Another bonsai move from Henderson, and Greaves goes into the wall.
Wow, Greaves goes into the K-rail. In a scary section on the track, but your new race leader, Jimmy Henderson. Negotiate the turn. Where did Jimmy Henderson go? Jimmy Henderson goes to the pits.
Henderson in the hot pit, the wild man, Adrian Cheney now leads the way.
Man, it's whoever can get their truck to the finish line first in this tough layout at Park River. Look at Adrian Cheney, Shane.
One last time through the Amsoil final turn, Adrian Cheney, your Pro 4 winner here in round 10. Kyle Cheney, another great run, back-to-back second place finishes at Park River. And Andrew Carlson survives for third.
Oh, the pace truck has pulled off. The Pro Series has just begun.
Mike Kirkham in the 56 with the early advantage down into turn one. Meister and Bernlohr staying side by side all the way down the hill, but Jordan Bernlohr went way wide.
Trying to rotate these cars. Look at this.
Oh, big
Kirkham
trouble
goes
for
around.
Kirkham.
The top three make contact. They're all going around.
Collected Job. Meister was stuck on Job. A lot of damage on the 07 of Larry Job, and that's a huge shakeup. The top three cars now parked. All the damage done on that left rear tire. And here starts the race within the race.
Yeah, they held Michael Meister a little bit back in the pit, so he's definitely going to be way down. Oh, he's got a right front flat as well.
As we come to the halfway point, Steinhardt, Booth, Lemke, Cole Bernlohr, Ryan Schwalbe, your top five.
Well, Shane, let's see if the veteran himself can get the job done here in the second half. Billy Booth, he's a newcomer the last couple years in this class. Let's see if he can get it done. Steinhardt once again gonna go through that little chicane. Keep your eye on the Cooper Tires flyaway as the track's working his way in very nicely.
And he's gonna be to the inside of Steinhardt into the gravel pit, and Booth ran out of track space.
He tried to jump the inside of that jump, and Steinhardt had him pinched off.
Meister evidently went for a ride in the number 94. He is gonna climb out under his own power, but
wow, that's good to see.
If you can say one thing about Meister's effort today is he fought and fought through so much hardship just to still be in the race, to be in the mix. We're gonna take a look at exactly what happened to Meister.
Oh man.
We've seen that before. Chris Vandenelsen had a very similar tumble a couple of years ago, and that was wild. It's excellent that he got to climb out under his own power. But right now, we'll go down trackside to Haley Shanley. What's up, Haley? Trying to stay right on the cushion and take the line away from Booth. Booth had a run, but had to hit that little roller jump. Steinhardt is going to take the win. Booth across the line second. Lemke holds on for third, his second career Pro Buggy podium. Gibbs and Eggleston in row 2, Wood and Millhausen in row 3.
Well, here we go, Bark River, get on your feet. Pro Lite has been unleashed.
Excellent start there by Maddox Bailey, and Gibbs actually stole a spot away from Kyle Greaves as well.
Wow, they're playing bumper cars down in turn 1. You can't see anything.
A ton of dust already in turn 1. We got one up on the bike and over. That's Eggleston in the 14.
Brody
Come back
Eggleston.
down, came back down on the wheels. And he is going to take off and stay right there on the lead lap. That's yesterday's winner that was upside down. And look at this three-way battle for the lead raging on as they go past the crowd.
Shane Trey Gibbs still has the best time on the charts, a 1:28.72. That is flat out flying here at Bark River.
And you hold that inside line. It is really tough to carry your momentum that tight through turn 1. He's not able to do it.
Oh,
Gibbs is going to go up and over. Gibbs was leading and he flipped over twice and then instantly back on the throttle.
Oh, he doesn't miss a heartbeat. He should be sponsored by Timex. He didn't waste any time. He put it back on the wheels.
Meanwhile, and that's the halfway point. My goodness.
That is some awesome driving. He didn't want to go in there that hard, but you see that berm, it's about 8-10 feet tall as you're going through there. It doesn't show you any justice as you're watching from the hill. You catch one of those ruts. I've driven a Pro Lite. You don't stay in the gas and you hit a rut, you go for a ride. Look at Kyle Greaves holding everybody right to the end. It's Greaves, Maddox Bailey, Matt Wood, your top 3.
Thought he was going to put a fender on Greaves there, but somehow he was able to hold that line. In trouble further back as Holcher was spun around. I believe Michael Funk also caught up in that trouble.
You see Gibbs after that crash.
Whoa, and more trouble for Bailey. He will spin all the way around. Matt Wood now up into second, and Gibbs after his rollover now once again in a podium spot.
Got another truck upside down off our screen.
Travis Millhausen Jr. in the number 10. Having some issues down there in turn 1, and here is the battle for second. Heavy door-to-door contact. Now Wood trying to squeeze Gibbs off the race line.
Gibbs is going to bonsai this jump. Watch, he's going to try and get a run.
For Wood.
Man.
Wood is going to come to a stop. Kyle Greaves will take the win here in round 10.
Matt Wood, look at Johnny Holcher. He's going to try to capitalize and get a top 3 finish out of this war.
Trey Gibbs across the line second, and Johnny Holcher across the line with a podium finish in third.
What a big shakeup. That Yokohama Tires ride finishing in the top 3. A good day for him. Wow, here we go, Shane. Nobody wants to waste any time. Remember, Jeff Budo really showing a lot of speed in round 9.
CJ just kind of moved over and took Owen Van Epperen out of the preferred line there. Then Boodle, the door was still open, so Boodle just came cruising on through alongside Van Eperen. Looks like Van Eperen able to hold on to the spot. Up front though, Boodle slowly reeling in CJ Greaves.
Yeah, you're right. That 41 starting to look at the back bumper and starting to figure out CJ Greaves and where he's going. Looks like we'll be coming to the halfway point. Carl Erickson has the yellow and red flag flying here at Bark River. So Boodle, Van Eperen, they're going to get another shot at this.
Greaves will lead at halfway, like you said. Boodle, Van Eperen up there in the top 3 as well.
33 Monster Energy back. Ride up, CJ Greaves is holding him right to the end. Here we go. Jeff Boodle is trying to work his way up back to CJ Greaves, but man, time is running out.
Yeah, Carlson definitely with more straight line speed, but Van Eperen. Bonsai move to the inside of Carlson and steals the spot away, and we know Andrew Carlson's not gonna like that, and he comes charging back to the inside.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be bumping and banging going on this last lap. Coming up here, I know Andrew Carlson is frustrated how he made that pass, but hey, you gotta move somebody out of the way sometimes here at Bark River.
CJ Greaves takes another win here in 2023, and Boodle able to hold on for second over Owen Van Eperen. Carlson across the line 4th, and Tyson Marquardt will finish in the top 5. So one of my earliest memories is seeing Kyle Leduc. He came to Crandon in, I think, 2004, racing Pro Lite. It was early on in his career, but he decided he was going to enter that Pro Lite in the Cup race against the Pro 2s and Pro 4s. There was a lot of back and forth whether or not they'd allow it. Sure enough, come race time, big pack of dogs comes through turn 1, Kyle Leduc in his tiny Pro Lite right in the middle of it. I think he showed a lot of fans here in the Midwest that day that he is absolutely fearless, and he has attacked racetracks all over the country the same way ever since, and that's why he has so many fans here at Champ Off-Road.
Kyle's an idol that we've always looked up to. Even in the Pro Lite days, I've always wanted to race against him, so it's cool. His driving style is absolutely amazing, and so I really look forward to it. It's how we build our trucks now too, and he's just somebody I really want to go out and compete against. Man, Kyle, I think Kyle looks at like us as a team just like him. We came from the Pro Lite, jumped straight to Pro 4. We're a smaller team, low budget team. We work out of our shop at the house. Like, everything's home built, and that's how Kyle started his foundation too with his father. And I think he looks at me and my dad as like him and Kurt, you know? Kurt's legacy is a whole nother deal, but Kyle's started out in the same footprint as we did. We work our butt off to get where we at, and to come out here and we're racing in the premier class as Pro 4, Kyle saw something in me, and he saw our driving ability to go help us pursue. He knows that we put in the hard work to make it happen, and he's in the same boat. So Kyle is somebody I have the utmost respect for in this sport.
Yeah, you know, Kyle Leduc, he's one of a kind. You know, John and Kurt raced against each other for a long time, and that was a battle the entire time they were racing together. And then Kyle came out, and he was the same way, and he fought tooth and nail to win. And I think that inspires everybody when you see somebody that fights that hard to win a race. And I think the best saying that I ever heard from him is, I don't care about points. If you win every race, you are the champion. And I think that one kind of stuck, you know. I've always been one for points racing, but if you win a race, you have that mindset like, man, I'm the best. We're winning the points, and you just keep wanting to win. And he's also been a rival to my family, but that's probably been the best rival in the short course world, the Greaves and the Leducs, and we wish he was here. I loved watching him and CJ go at it all the time, and they race really good. So hopefully he gets back soon.
Absolutely nobody like him. You know, it's not the same without him here. Nobody sends it like he does. Nobody gets the crowd on their feet like he does. You know, just absolutely wish he can get back out here in the future. We're all praying for him. Such an awesome guy, and I'm just really hoping for the best.
Kyle Leduc as a racer is pretty much just balls to the walls, wide open throttle all the time. Great guy to watch, you know, kind of inspiring to watch how he drives, and just never lets off unless he absolutely has to, which isn't very often.
How's it going, Kyle? I know what you're thinking. Yeah, we look good. I just want to say, hey man, we miss you. Can't wait to see you. We hope you get better. And this place ain't the same without you.
Kyle, you've touched so many people in this sport and industry, and every one of us are behind you. We're praying for a speedy recovery and look forward to seeing you back at the track, buddy.
Hey buddy, just thinking about you, praying for you, wish you were here. You know, it's not the same without you. You bring the heat and we all miss you. Hope you get well, buddy. See ya.
Yeah, Kyle, stay strong, man. It's gonna be tough, but you know, just like you attack the track in your Pro 4, I know you can attack this battle and be a champion here too. So stay strong, and we'll see you back out here.
Kyle, get better, buddy. I'm ready to bang doors with you, and I really want to beat you next season, so we need you back out there, bud.
Hey Kyle, I just wanted to let you know that you have way more fans here at the track than you think. That includes your competitors in the pits. Everyone here is really pulling for you, but my man, if I know one thing about you, you are fearless, and when all hope is lost, you fight like no other. You fight like a son of a... And I have no doubt that I will see you at a racetrack soon, and you and I can talk some smack to one another.
Hey, what's up, Kyle? It's Brent here. I just want to say, hey, we're here with you. We love you, and I hope you're the best, buddy. I think about you night and day. We're all here as an off-road community, and we want what's best for you. And we know you're not here, but you're here in our hearts, buddy.
Kyle, as we knew it would be when we first showed up to Anago, there is a massive void that we are feeling this season. Without your presence, you are missed. You are competition and intensity personified. And just as a character and individual, we can't say enough how much you are missed here. And you have an entire community behind you and supporting you in fighting your toughest competitor yet. And we send our love and warm regards to you and your entire family. So we can't wait to see you back at the track soon. Take care.
When a competitor trips, an entire community is there to lift them back up. And there is nothing that the iRacing and real-world motorsport communities do better than come together and help out our fellow racers. Tonight, we raise money for the United States Auto Club Race Aid and fuel Kyle's fight. Welcome to Dirt Plus Determination, live on the AMSOIL Championship Off-Road YouTube channel. We're glad that all of you are spending your evening with us here from the virtual Big House on iRacing. As we get ready for all of tonight's action, I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Joining me in the booth tonight is Terry Radford. And Terry, like I said, there's nothing better that the iRacing community and the real-life motorsports community does than come together and raise awareness in a special time. And now that is for 7-time Pro Truck champion Kyle Leduc.
Yeah, and that's the big part, and that's the biggest key that we see in here. We're not just racers. We're not just commentators. We're a family. Regardless of what type of racing you do, whether it's asphalt, dirt, it does not matter. We are one big family tonight. We race for Kyle. We're fueling his fight, and hey, man, come back to the track. I want to watch some pretty baller Pro 4 racing and Pro 2 racing. Let's get some racing going here tonight for him.
And we are raising awareness, we are raising money, and the donation link is in the description and in the chat. But like you just mentioned, Terry, we are also going racing at a track that Kyle's very familiar with, and all the drivers that are on track tonight are very familiar with. It's the Crandon International Raceway. This track is a perfect place to race. We crowned a champion in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series in Connor Berry last night. Now we're back here at the virtual Big House to do some charity racing, and no better place to do it.
No better place on the planet than Crandon here in Wisconsin. 1.5 miles, 8 turns. I had a chance to turn some laps around here just a little while ago. I always have a good time when I'm racing the Pro 2s and the Pro 4s around here. We did crown a champion last night, and that's really cool to see what iRacing has done for the off-road series and allowing that to come on the platform and be a part of this. But Crandon is going to put on one heck of a show like always.
And tonight we are going to go racing in a 2-race format, and we'll take a look at that event breakdown. We'll have we just had our 30-minute practice. That's over with. The drivers are now in open qualifying, which is about 10 minutes long, and we'll get to coverage of that here in just a moment. 10 laps for our opening race number 1. We'll invert the top 6 going into that race from qualifying. Then we'll have about a 6-minute break. We'll get to talk with some of our drivers and hopefully our race number 1 winner in Pro 2 and Pro 4 as well. Then we'll go racing in the second race of the night for 10 laps, a top 4 invert from the results of race number 1 going into that race. But I mentioned our champion Connor Berry, Terry. He's on the track now here in qualifying, and open qualifying is of course going to be a challenge of everybody having to share some space on the racetrack. Connor Berry gets ready for another lap, and something that the viewers at home will notice is our drivers that are pro sim racers rather than pro in the real world, or some of our real world influences joining us tonight. They're in the Pro 2s, the easier to drive 900 horsepower all-wheel drive Pro 4s will be driven by our real world counterparts.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be fun. Me and you talked pre-race in this. You don't want to put Connor Berry in a Pro 4. You put him in a Pro 2 and try to hold them at a disadvantage. Real world racing for himself and also here on the sim world. But you take a look at Jarrett Brooks right there leading this field with Connor Berry right there behind him. Cam Peterson's doing a good job. A lot of familiar faces and familiar names as you see us separate here between the Pro 4 and the Pro 2s. You got drivers like Josh Edmondson in here, Greg Johnson, I mean, Miles Cheek, and Kyle Cooper. This is a pretty star-studded field from top to bottom. It's a pleasure to be doing this.
And everybody works their way on the track right now for qualifying, and that clock is going to continue to wind down. About 6.5 minutes left. There is no, the lap maximum will be 10 laps. Not expecting anybody to even get close to reaching that 10 lap maximum here in qualifying. So we'll just continue to watch that clock as it winds down. But this is iRacing, Terry. And for anybody that is tuning in tonight and has never watched an event on the iRacing service, I mean, this racing is virtual, but it's still very, very real. You might not have to pay for the damage that you do to the truck. You might not have to, scrounge up some dollars to go and race, but each of these drivers want to win their respective class, and everybody in the Pro 2 class is gonna want to get that overall win and beat the Pro 4s.
Oh, absolutely, and this might be virtual, but like we talked about, this is the best way to put a charity race on for a lot of people to come join from their home. And the virtual side of things is, while the racing is not real, it is online. The drivers are real. They're all here together, and you see this big cluster back here behind us. The driver down there. That's a very interesting VR headset he's got going on right there. He looks like something from Halo. That's always fun. But if you are new to watching the iRacing platform, you can head on over today is the 15th anniversary, so we're doing this on some special days as well. You can sign up 60% off new members at iRacing.com. You can be a part of the virtual world, jump some trucks with us here in the Pro 4s and the Pro 2s, or you can do that right there and just hit the hill at Crandon.
That was Josh Edmondson with the Pimax VR headset that he took out there on the track for the moment. But everybody gonna work their way in the qualifying session at the moment, and looking for some of the drivers to be on the track. There's Crystal King, and we'll get a great look at her being the first and now still only female to ever compete in an iRacing World Championship, Terry, and she did it in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series.
Yes, she did, and breaking down barriers is the biggest thing here for Crystal. Not a lot of women come in and race at a high level, especially at the championship level that Crystal King has done from Columbus, Ohio, breaking all the barriers. It's 2023, and it's very, very refreshing to see more faces, more diversity, and just a great group of people come into the sim racing world. And man, she crushed it this year too.
This is another one of those drivers I'm talking about, Zachary Drapkin, who is a real world racer at the same time as one of our sim racing stars. he does have that Pro 2 truck, so he is competing as a sim racer tonight. One of the drivers that I think everybody can equally agree, Terry, should have been in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series and compete for an iRacing World Championship. However, he did not qualify and ended up running the All-Star Invitational and played second fiddle to Luke Canup for that entire season, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, and Luke Canup's no one to sleep on as well. He's very talented at his craft. But for Zachary Drafkin, you're absolutely right. Should have made it into the Pro World Championship side of things. But he's got next year. And I know everybody says, oh, well, saying next year's kind of crazy. He has next season. I guarantee you if he qualifies, he will be a force to reckon with in the iRacing Off-Road Championship, which was an absolute thrill to watch on a Wednesday night on the iRacing platform, and you can watch it on demand all the time at iRacing's YouTube page.
Still under about 2.5 minutes left in qualifying as Luke Canup will end off a lap there, but we get to starting to look at some of our real-world racers and influencers that are joining us here tonight. One of them being Jarrett Brooks, who works his way on the racetrack at the moment and starts off one of his qualifying laps. He's currently fastest in those Pro 4s, a 3-time Pro Lite champion, a 3-time Pro 2 champion, and a winner here at Crandon as well in the real world. So Terry, he knows his way around this track in one way or another.
Yeah, and I had a chance. I didn't even know. I looked down. I thought the name looked familiar, and he was in the Discord right below us. And I jumped in there. I said, "Hi, Jarrett, Mr. Brooks. How are you today?" And made the joke. I should have called him Garth Brooks, but didn't. I saw the J in front of it. He's fastest here in the Pro 4s, and he's got a 0.6 of a second lead over Drake there in 518. This is the driver. I think if you're Connor Berry or Keaton Swain, you're going to have a hard time getting around Mr. Brooks here.
It's not going to be an easy one to do, but they're going to have to try and do that to the best of their ability. Brooks leads currently that Pro 4 lap times. Drake McTagg, another one of our real-life racers, comes out onto the track to try and get another lap in here in open qualifying. One driver that I don't believe has made a lap yet. Looks like Luke Canup might try and make another one. We've got Christopher Plumley on the track, one of our sim racing stars. Josh Edmondson, another one of our sim racers, just moves his way up into P2 in the Pro 2. With Keaton Swain also trying to get a better lap time. He sits in third, another one of our Off-Road Championship Series competitors. But down in the field, about mid-pack in qualifying right now, Terry Miles Cheek sits there in P4 currently of the Pro 4s. Bo Ambos and Brent Smith. A lot of people will be familiar with that voice from the AMSOIL Championship Off-Road broadcast on Flow Racing.
Yeah, and you can always keep up to date here on this championship off-road series at flow.com. Start your subscription to watch all of the best action off-road you can find today. This is one of the largest series at that point as well, and you'll get to hear Mr. Brent work his way through the field and does a phenomenal job calling these races. It's not often you find somebody that can call off-road or dirt really, really well, but I would say the voice of an angel. I don't know if he'll watch this or hear this, but yeah, definitely the voice of the angel there.
And it looks like qualifying has officially wrapped its way over and done, and we'll get ready for our first race of the night. Remember, a 2-race format with our drivers tonight. But we take a look at your starting grid for first the Pro 4 drivers, and that's Jarrett Brooks on the pole, Drake McTagg in second, Brent Smith, John Holtger going to share the third and fourth spots, Logan Christensen and Miles Cheek going to be through the top 6, with Kyle Cooper, Bo Ambos, Jeffrey Ives, and Luke Canup going to round out our Pro 4 drivers. I don't believe Luke Canup's going to be driving in the Pro 4. I believe he's driving in the Pro 2, but nevertheless, Terry, let's take a look at that Pro 2 starting grid.
I'll take a look back there with Connor Berry. Winner from last night's championship's going to start on the pole with the outside of Cam Peterson. Keaton Swain back there in third with Zachary Drapkin. Christopher Plumley and Josh Edmondson rounding out your top 6. The remainder of this field will go Sean Winkler, Nicholas Dushlet, Greg Johnson, Crystal King, Trenton Briley, and Dylan Hunter, your top 12.
And running out that field will be another Luke Knupp. I think there's a little bit of an issue with our scoring, but at the same time, Luke Knupp is racing one way or another. He is on the grid right now in his Pro 2, so he will be running in that Pro 2 class. But Terry, welcome to Crandon. Welcome to the Land Rush start. It's in the real world, it's in the sim, and it is one of the most intense ways to start out any form of racing on the iRacing simulator.
Yes, it is. It's my favorite by far. I told you this on Racecraft. This is awesome. There they go. We're land rushing at Crandon.
We are underway for race number 1. The field dives their way into that opening corner as the field will fight their way on through. Who is going to get through to get the opening lead in that Pro 2? It's going to be Christopher Plumley closer to the back. Jarrett Brooks is going to lead us through in the Pro 4s. Now, initially, those Pro 4s are going to be much faster. 4-wheel drive, all of them 900 horsepower. The slightly slower 2-wheel drive Pro 2s will follow suit. As Brooks leads the way, we will now officially start the first lap of action once they come across the start-finish. And it's Brooks leading the way over Matag, Smith, Ambos, climbing the top 5, and the Pro 2s have a bit of a hornet's nest, Terry, as Trenton Briley is going to get the early lead there, passing Cam Peterson and Christopher Plumley.
Yeah, and they made a little contact right there on this opening lap. Just kind of bumped wheels just a tad bit. You see that crossover there, more contact made back there. There's Peterson working his way up through the field on the outside of the 88. And this has already been a very chaotic start as Trenton Briley there in the Pro 2s holding off Cam Peterson and Keaton Swain as those two go door to door into the corner. There's a Pro 4 and around they go.
That is a lot of spinning there in the hairpin, and we've got the 21 of Keaton Swain around. A handful of other drivers got turned around in the hairpin, but where we sit right now, everybody is through on clean in the Pro 4s. Only a handful of them getting caught up in that mess, but look who's right at the front of our Pro 2s now, Terry. It is Connor Berry in the 2. Now we see that Pro 2, the 24 of Luke Knupp. Not sure if it's a sim issue or an issue with our scoring on our broadcast end, but Luke Knupp's kind of in a class of his own right now. He's being scored in a separate class of Pro 2s, so for all intents and purposes, we'll call this battle for the lead in Pro 2s. Connor Berry now will retake it from Luke Knupp. Trenton Briley watching from behind.
Yeah, you said Trent Briley try to get in there on Luke Knupp for that spot. Not going to be able to make this move. Connor Berry starting to very quickly put his way through this field, stamping a 0.2 of a second lead as they sweep through the corner. Right on the back bumper, or on the front bumper, you see the 93 of John Honker. He has an opportunity to go up here and pass one of those Pro 4s, but you also talked about the fact that the 4s will be faster than the 2s for the time being. But as the track starts to rubber, and it's, oh no, there goes Connor Berry. He slid in there and caught him, and it's another massive pileup in the corner for the Pro 2s. That's
a mistake that we're not used to seeing from Connor Berry, but it's one that he just made, and that was a big moment there in the hairpin corner. And Connor Berry ends up losing a ton of time. He sits 4th now in class. Josh Edmondson for Nitro Circus Sim Racing in the number 58 will assume that lead. Jarrett Brooks still leads the Pro 4s. Matag and Smith back from there. And we look on board for the moment with that number 45 of Smith as he roars over the jump and goes through the final corner here at Crandon. Sees an opening to the inside of the 518. Can't make it done as we go on to lap number 3.
So not just the voice of the series, the voice of the Angels, but also a really good racer as well as he sits there in the 3rd place position. Your fastest lap, no surprise, goes to Jared Brooks up there in the number 77, currently leading the overall race, but at Bark River, Michigan native, knows his way around Crandon as well. He's called multiple times from here, and he's getting it done early.
This battle in the front of the Pro 4s still spacing its way out. Not a ton of movement yet. Josh Edmondson back here leading the Pro 2s. Also, not a ton of movement back here either. As this group continues on, he's your current race leader in those Pro 2s with Greg Johnson behind, Connor Berry in 3rd, Zach Drapkin and Cam Peterson gonna round out that full group. But where do we sit at the current moment in those Pro 2s with Edmondson at the front? Still not a ton of movement up here, but Connor Berry is on the back bumper of Greg Johnson, and he wants that 2nd place spot here in the Pro 2s.
Yeah, slight mistake very early from the 2 of Connor Berry, but he gets underneath the 150 of Greg Johnson. He had the run for just a moment, but couldn't make that pass complete. The TWRS machine, they are trying to keep it going. He pinches the outside, pinches down to the bottom. They make contact there as they come to the start-finish line to put lap 4 on the board. Great race there for second.
Pass made up in 6 for the Pro 4s. This is Kyle Clayman and Miles Cheek going side by side. And here comes a swarm of Pro 2s behind. That's Luke Knupp. That's Josh Edmondson. Now reaching this group of Pro 4s.
That is a massive group there, and we saw it in the hairpin over and over again as truck goes around. Didn't spin all the way, saved it for the time being. You see more carnage going on in the hairpin. That has been the biggest key and the biggest story so far in this race, is all of the drivers in a line starting to bunch up and pack up there. They get to the hairpin, and it's like they're like, hey, you know what? Let's raise some heck back here and run into each other as we go on board right here with one of our other great drivers.
That's Zachary Drapkin that we're on board with now, about a half second behind our current top 4. He's trying to catch up to Cam Peterson as you see that drifting number 48 Pro 2 up in front. Continuing on with 10 laps in this race, we're currently running lap number 5 as our Pro 4 leaders grab that start-finish line. I was hoping we'd get a dog sighting with Zachary Drapkin like we normally do. Unfortunately, didn't that time, but I'm sure the dogs are somewhere, and maybe we'll get a dog sighting a little bit later on. I'm hoping for it.
I'm hoping for it as well, but don't forget what we are racing for. We're fueling Kyle's fight. You can donate right there at the bottom of your screen. It's right there at the bottom. You also have a link that's right inside of the chat here for all of you to click there. You take a look at the hairpin again. Another almost mistake got made there as more drivers are just having to slow up way too much there, and it's not allowing them to keep that momentum, and other drivers are not using the reference point of the truck in front of them. They're using their own, which is sometimes a blessing and a curse, Joshua Lee, of why we enjoy the race. No contacts made there.
You mentioned what we're racing for, and of course we're benefiting the United States Auto Club Race Aid. It's racers helping racers, and that's exactly what you can do. Terry mentioned it on the bottom of your screen. You can type that link in, or click the one in the description, or click the one in the chat room as well. There's many ways to donate to the USAC Racing Race Aid and help all that you can for Race Aid. And like I mentioned, racers helping racers. That's what we're looking to do tonight with this race, the Dirt Plus Determination, fueling Kyle's fight, live on the Amsoil Championship Off-Road YouTube channel, and utilizing the iRacing service. And it's 15th anniversary of iRacing, 15 years of virtual racing, and you can get on iRacing right now. If these pro trucks, these off-road trucks in Crandon, Bark River, Wild West Motorsports Park, and Wild Horse Pass look enticing to you, you can get on iRacing for 60% off a new membership and get racing right now. Terry, that dirt road license ladder has never been the easiest to get into. You start and you're close to the bottom with the Pro 2 lights. Then you graduate up to fixed Pro 2 and Pro 4 racing. Then you go into the open side of things with the Pro 4 and the Pro 2, and the ladder all the way up to the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series that we just ended last night on the iRacing social channels, and Connor Berry walking away with that championship. He looks very familiar right now running P2 in the Pro 2 class, and he's always quick, and we saw it in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series and seeing it again tonight.
Yeah, and you and Arjuna did a masterful job calling those races, and I enjoy watching it as a fan. I fell in love with this type of racing almost 1 year ago today. I called my first ever off-road race on Racecraft TV, and I even tried to throw the pitch into juniors here. If we need more off-road tracks on iRacing, we're celebrating 15 years on this platform. There's so many great racetracks around the country that deserve to be scanned in and give these drivers something more to race on to test their skills. As man, this battle for the 5th place position in Pro 4s between Logan Christensen and Miles Cheeks has been absolutely phenomenal here. You take a look right there, the 88, the Wisconsin native gets the spot for the moment, trying to pull away.
We are on board now, the Pro 4 of Miles Cheek, and as we sit on board, Terry, a lot of people, if they've seen the coverage of championship off-road on Flow Racing, will recognize this onboard. They'll recognize this in-cab. It's very much the same as what the real-world drivers are facing in the sim. You slam the dirt, the truck wants to fly every which way, the dive to the inside for Miles Cheek, and he is gonna get that pit spot in the Pro 4s away from Logan Christensen. But the exact same movements, the exact same tenacity that it takes to wheel an off-road truck around a real-world racetrack takes the exact same in the sim. These drivers gotta stay focused. The trucks react near the same when they slam back to the dirt, and the racing is very real. The way you make passes, the way you set things up is almost identical to the real world.
Absolutely. You watch it on Flow. You can catch it on other platforms as well. That you see this type of racing, and you even saw it if you tuned in with us during the countdown to the green flag, where we were showing some of the amazing fights that happen all season long here during this schedule. I've never in my life seen somebody pull so many tear-offs of their helmet. I sit there and watched a guy yank his driver's suit to clean the mud off. We don't have that problem here on the iRacing platform, but the trucks handle virtually the same. And I say virtually as a good, I hope you got the pun, Josh, but you know, they do feel very, very similar. And a lot of drivers use this as a test session, but we got 2 laps to go in race number 1 before we take a 6-minute break.
I understood the pun. I liked the pun. Thank you very much. But seeing a lot of people in the chat room wondering how they can get into this. We mentioned it earlier. We'll keep mentioning it tonight. Head to iRacing.com. 60% off. Brand new memberships going on right now, and not for much longer. It's part of the 15th anniversary special of iRacing, so no better time to get into the sim. As we see Brent Smith making a move for second place on Drake Matag. He will get that spot, and we'll look a little bit further on back. 6th place currently in the Pro 4s. He's in a world of his own, but I think there's nobody better to highlight on the in-sim side than Sean Winkler, because Terry, he's raced for so many years in the virtual world. He's been here since day number 1 of the off-road leagues and off-road racing here on iRacing, and I think it's no better person to support than Sean Winkler as we see him wheel the Pro 2 around Crandon.
Well, and I like that the for sale sign for Sean Winkler there at 425-750-5007 to sell your house with a Real Broker LLC down there. That's Sean Winkler himself. Take that plug and smoke it. Final lap for our driver back there in 6th. It's all Jared Brooks from here in our Pro 4s, and Josh Edmondson still fighting Connor Berry for the Pro 2s.
That is not much of a fight, as it is about 2 seconds, that gap in those Pro 2s, but got a much closer gap side by side for our Pro 4 2nd place. That's Drake Matag on the inside, Brent Smith on the outside, into the famous hairpin of Crandon, locking it up is Matag, and here comes Bo Ampos to join the fight. Now 3 trucks as they make contact for 2nd place. That's the 45 of Brent Smith on the 518 of Matag.
You see a 3-way fight here for that 2nd place position. Smith wants it to the outside. He's not going to get it right there. Drivers are going to come through the final couple sectors of this racetrack. 3 cars under a blanket. Ambrose, Smith, Matag, all fighting it out here. A little wide there. Smith goes take a look to the inside.
Side by side for 2nd place as Jarrett Brooks looks to the checkered flag. This is for 2nd. Slide job from Smith. Dive into the inside goes Bo Ampos. The 388 can only get side by side with the 518. The 45 of Smith pulls away and to the checkered flag for race number 1. How about Jarrett Brooks? He walks away with our Pro 4 win, and Brent Smith, final corner, slams the 388 of Ambos out of the way. They cross the line. Smith has not crossed the line. Now he does in P4.
What just happened? We thought he was clear. He pulled away for a moment. We take a look at our race winner, and it's all up in smoke. Everything was getting all wrecked there at the start-finish line. That was wild to say the least.
I'm not sure if I'll be able to grab a replay that quick with the session changing over as well. But what a race to the finish. I think what happened is they went 3 wide and Brent Smith got pushed up in that final corner. Very easy to do here at Crandon, and ended up not so happy camper at the end of that one. But we take a look at your race results here for race number 1 of action. And yes, that is race number 1. We've got one more race to go as Jarrett Brooks walks away with our Pro 4 win. 5 seconds behind that battle with Matag, Ambos, and Smith. Miles Cheek gonna round out our top 5. Logan Christensen, Kyle Cooper, Jeffrey Ives, John Holtger gonna round out the 9 drivers from the Pro 4s. Terry, our Pro 2 finishers, ended with Josh Edmondson on top.
Yeah, Josh Edmondson gets the race win. Connor Berry second. Luke Knupp, your third place finisher with Cam Peterson, Greg Johnson, Zachary Drapkin, and you got Sean Winkler, Keaton Swain, Christopher Plumley, and Trenton Briley, your top 10. And that was it was interesting to say the least, as you got Dylan Hunter, Crystal King, and Nicholas Dashlet.
Nobody ends off of the lead lap in either Pro 4s or Pro 2s. And now we transition over to the break period. About 6 minutes worth of a break here before we get back to racing here at Virtual Crandon. And once again, glad that all of you are joining us here on the AMSOIL Championship Off-Road YouTube channel for a first foray into iRacing coverage here on AMSOIL Championship Off-Road. And remember, what we're racing for tonight is Dirt Plus Determination, fueling Kyle Leduc's fight against cancer. And you can support the United States Auto Club Race Aid, Racers Helping Racers, by clicking the donation link either in the description or in the chat room. And 7-time Pro 4 off-road champion, he knew a thing or two about Pro 4 racing. Terry and our drivers tonight know a little thing or two about racing in the virtual world.
Yeah, they do. A lot of these drivers come onto the iRacing platform to put a good bit of practice down, just to get familiarized with the track, just to have a little fun as well. This is a great cause, and this is also a really fun time to see these drivers come out here. Crandon has always been phenomenal. From day one of it landing here on the iRacing platform to today, it is still a timeless classic that, well, if you're watching a race from Crandon, you're watching one heck of a show.
Well, as the break continues on and our drivers, a good handful of them hit the track for some practice laps, we'll transition it over to a couple of interviews and we'll be able to talk with a good solid amount of the drivers competing here tonight for the race win from Virtual Crandon. And that will start with the race number 1 winner in the Pro 2s, being Josh Edmondson, and we'll bring him up into the broadcast booth. And Josh, you've said before that you favor the Pro 2s a little bit more than the Pro 4s, and I think tonight you just proved it a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely a little more up my alley. I like the Pro 2 a lot more.
And of course, what we're here to do tonight, it is fueling Kyle's fight. It is supporting the United States Auto Club Race Aid, but also looking for some wins out there. That top 4 will be inverted now, but the land rush start going to equalize a lot. Just what does it mean to race here at Virtual Crandon and bring the iRacing community together to do something that, I mean, you and me both know we're really good at doing?
Yeah, no, this is awesome for all these people to get together and put on an event, that helps another community member, just at racing in general. Obviously a lot of these guys race in real life that are in here. Even some of the guys that are, considered sim, like Connor Berry, who's, obviously good in real life, and Drapkin and all them, or other racing as well. I mean, we're all racers here, so that's cool to see everybody come together and try and support a good cause and help Kyle out. It's obviously a tough fight, but we want to see him pull through, so it's cool that we're able to do this.
And congratulations again on your race number 1 victory in the Pro 2s. Hopefully we're talking to you post-race as well with another Pro 2 victory.
Yeah, it was chaos. It was so much fun. I'm looking forward to another one. This is a blast.
That was Josh Edmondson for Nitro Circus Sim Racing Team. He walks away with our race number 1 victory, but we'll transition from Josh Edmondson, our race 2 victor, over to one of the drivers from the Pro 2 class in the last race. He's also one of our kind of real world / sim drivers. It's Luke Knupp, and Luke is standing by now with Terry Radford.
Well, Luke, I gotta ask you, you kind of threw us off a little bit. Did you load into the wrong car earlier?
Yeah, I loaded into the wrong car, accidentally did the Pro 4, and I was like, shoot, what are we going to do? So thankfully my Team Gold, Team Owner Trenton Briley gave me access to his other account. So I'm not sure if it showed me on the broadcast. I looked and it wasn't showing my name, but yeah, we had a great race.
Well, you had a great race, and you had a chance to drive through the field. What did you learn in that first race to carry on to the second one to potentially go up there and mix it up for the win?
Just learn, like, this is my first time really driving the Pro 2 since the refresh, so it's been a learning curve, but I'm just super happy to put on a show for a great cause. You know, Kyle has been one of my idols since I started racing, and just seeing what he's gone through is you never wish on anyone. So I'm hoping he has a fast recovery, and hopefully he can beat that fight with cancer.
Well, Luke, we look forward to talking to you potentially a little bit later on. Best of luck in that second race, man.
For sure. Thanks, Terry.
That's Luke Canuck, Joshua Lee, driver of the number 5 tonight.
And I do want to put it out there, Luke Canuck is racing with us. He is behind the wheel of the Pro 2, but looks like our overlay swapped trucks, and I don't think it's really handling it that well. So might not see him on the scoring, but he is out here racing with us in the Pro 2s. And like we've been mentioning, Terry, all these iRacing competitors coming together, real world competitors coming together, and we might butt heads, especially in the iRacing community. I know the real world motorsports community butt heads a lot as well, but something that we do more is come together when it is needed. And tonight it was needed, and the support we're getting for the United States Auto Club Race 8 is just more than I think we expected and that we really could have asked for.
But like I tell everybody at the real life racetrack, if you close your eyes and just stand there and then open them and look to your left and to your right, you don't see a bunch of race fans. You don't see a bunch of racers. Yeah, there's cars going in a circle. There's cars slinging mud. There's karts. There's all sorts of other motorsports out there. But we're a family, and when one of our family members go down, we pick them up. Whenever we fall down, they come pick us up. And that's the biggest thing about sports and motorsports in general. There is not another group of family that rallies around an individual like motorsports, and it's even more here in the off-road series because they are so tight grouped, and one of their family members is hurt, and we're here to make sure they're okay.
Well, after that break, we are ready to go for race number 2. It's a top 4 invert from how each of our classes fared in race number 1. Brent Smith will be on the pole for Pro 4s. Bo Ambos in second. Drake Matag, Jarrett Brooks, Miles Cheek, Logan Christensen through the top 6. Rounding out the field of the Pro 4s is Kyle Cooper, Jeffrey Ives, John Holker, and not Luke Canuck. He'll be running in the Pro 2s, which, Terry, you've got the starting grid for them.
Sure do. Josh Edmondson still gets the pole there for the Nitro Circus Sim Racing with Connor Berry to the outside. Luke Canuck will start in P3 with Cam Peterson to the outside. Gregory Johnson for Team Watson Racing back there in 5th, and Zachary Drapkin will be in the 6th place position. Our next bit of the lineup here is going to be Sean Winkler, Keaton Swain will be back there, Christopher Plumley, and Trenton Briley is your starters as the Land Rush is back on at Crandon.
We are back underway here for race number 2 as the field will dive their way into the opening corner. Brent Smith using that top 4 overall invert to his advantage as he pulls away with the race lead. Edmondson will lead the Pro 2s as they're getting caught up with a couple of Pro 4s. That was Kyle Clayman. One driver going around. John Holker is going to be around in the middle of the pack. Not a lot of trucks hit him, but it's Edmondson versus Barry in the Pro 2s as they dive into the opening couple of corners.
What an absolute masterclass of the driver to stay out of the way right there and miss the remaining part of this field as you see all these drivers here making contact. Oh, big carnage here in the corner. They're all beating and banging. I believe damage is off. They don't much care here. They're racing for a good cause, and hey, ain't nothing no better than slinging mud and trading paint.
You couldn't have said it better myself as we see the next couple of drivers at the front of the Pro 4 field. They currently race their way through into the hairpin. Smith still leads with Brooks behind, Brooks being our race number 1 winner of the Pro 4s, and he works his way trying to get that lead. Now you'll see a blank spot up at the top of your Pro 4 timing. That is for Logan Christensen, who has towed himself back into the pit lane, I believe reaching into an incident either off the opening corner or a little bit further on in that first lap. But he tows himself back to the pit lane. Timing will update once the rest of our trucks pass him in the pits. But where we sit right now, an issue for Josh Edmondson as well. He is into the pit lane with an incident. We'll see if we can find out what happened to him. But Connor Berry now is going to lead our Pro 2s with a charging championship rival in Keaton Swain from the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series.
And they're also starting to pass some Pro 4 trucks this afternoon as they got around Jeffrey Ives there in the 2. Was able to go as Jeffrey Ives makes contact there, and we've got one truck over the barricade. He's going to go. That's Trenton Briley that is flipping on the front. He's over on his lid. Hopes he can get that thing flipped back over. He'll fall to the bottom of the timing screen, and wow, there is a lot going on now in this race.
Here's that replay. Going up and over is right. And he eventually gets not flipped the right way, up on the lid, and unfortunately turtled. Not much that he could do there. So he sits in the pit lane now. Connor Berry still leads those Pro 2s. Now Jarrett Brooks has retaken that Pro 4 lead. Smith and Matag trying to catch back up. Looks like second first, exactly the same as the first for this Pro 4 class.
Yeah, same song, different verse, but surprise, surprise, Jared Brooks is picking up where he left off. Lap 1 takes the race lead, and 3 wide for the spot as contact's made between Smith and Matag there for that P2 spot. They're going at it hard here, and man, he's doing justice for all of us commentators out here who try to win one of these races.
Smith lost a bit of control coming off of that jump. He got cattywampus. He gathers it back up. But Drake Matag now in second. That'll be Jarrett Brooks in third. And battling further back in the Pro 2s, they have been grouped up a little bit more here in this race than they were in the last one. Cam Peterson's on the back bumper and Nicholas Dashley. They're trying to fight for this 5th spot as Christopher Plumley sits about 2 seconds back from this group. Crystal King's fighting her way up through a good amount of Pro 4 traffic further back. But the battle at the front of the Pro 4s is still on as they're side by side there. Keaton Swain is trying to find a way past the Pro 4 Kyle Clayman.
There's so much action going on, it's hard to keep up with. The race number 2, they learned a lot from race number 1. You talked about it right there where Drapkin's trying to get around, trying to find some space here to put themselves into a position to get an overall victory. The thing is that you got the 42 right there of Jeffrey Ives, and then you got Kilman, you got Drapkin back here as well. All of these drivers, that kind of where they finished out in the first heat, as you see here, big slide job, crossover there.
They were almost 3 wide, but that move is done. Drake Matag to the lead. Jared Brooks in second. Brent Smith is going to get all types of messed up as Miles Cheeks in the 57 takes advantage and moves his way up onto the podium places in the Pro 4s. That'll move Brent Smith in the 45 back to 4th.
And what a save from Brent Smith in the 45. He might have lost that spot to Miles Cheek, but hey, A for effort to hold on to that thing. Most people would have lost it. Didn't lose contact with our race leaders either. You still see Brooks and Matag up there, but not too far back. One little bitty mistake, one little bit of contact, and 3rd and 4th, they're right back into the fight for the lead. And we see it here going side by side once again, over the bump to the next one, into the corner. A little bit more contacts made, but he's hanging out there with him. Jared Brooks and Matag are putting on one heck of a fight.
They continue to fight at the front of this Pro 4 group, and we'll keep our cameras on them for the moment as Jarrett Brooks tries to send a slider in, but the 518 of Matag just went wide in that corner. That'll invite the 77 of Brooks back to the race lead. Pro 2s is not much of a conversation, Terry. Connor Berry leads, but I'll go on board with Connor Berry and take a look in front of him. Yeah, that's the top 4 of Pro 4s. Berry's in a Pro 2. This is going to get interesting.
Well, you told me in pre-race that we would see Connor Berry potentially go up here and race with these drivers.
I wasn't wrong.
You was not wrong at all. A for Joshua Lee for getting that one correct. We'll see if Connor Berry can go up here and put the fight to Brooks, to Matag, to Smith, to Cheek. That would be fun to see as you just see the precision, the racecraft that's on Connor Berry right here. Sliding the wheel, not over sliding it, getting it turned in and back on the throttle. I mean, if you want to learn how to race one of these trucks, call Connor Berry.
He is a two-time champion and one of only 6 people to ever win multiple iRacing World Championships for a reason. This battle for the Pro 4s is still on. Top 3, you can put a blanket over him now as Brooks goes back to the inside. The 518 of a tag went for defense. That did not work out in his favor. He will be side by side. He will power around the outside and use all 900 horses under the hood of that Pro 4 to his advantage. But Miles Cheek now wants a piece of the lead. 3 wide for the race lead at Crandon as they go over the opening jump. Matag on the inside. He makes contact with Cheek, who then makes contact with Jared Brooks. Brooks is going to get the race lead back, but Matag is still not done. And look in the rear view mirror. The Jaws music starts to play as Connor Berry is on the hunt.
Yeah, he's right there with them, too. All 4 of these drivers doing a masterful job for the Pro 4s. You go on board with the Pro 2 leader, Connor Berry. He'll slide it in there. This is where he's at his best. He makes contact with Smith. It's 3 wide for the overall second place position, and they'll pull away with the 900 horses they have, but when he gets to the corner, he has the opportunity to pull away here. He sees the top 3 fighting it out for this race win. Brooks still leaves. Cheek Matag, your top 3.
Now, off-road fans are going to know the difference between a Pro 4 and a Pro 2 very well. But if anybody's tuning in to off-road racing for the first time, that Pro 2, it's 2-wheel drive. Only in the rear wheels are you going to get power onto the track. Pro 4s are all-wheel drive. 900 horses in those Pro 4s combined with the all-wheel drive, Terry. It gets up and it goes out of these corners. The Pro 2s, not so much, but Connor Berry, being the driver that he is fighting with Pro 4s to get a possible overall win.
That just speaks to the absolute talent behind that race truck. And I am not taking anything away from these Pro 4s, but I think the only reason why that they have allowed him to climb into this, 1 is talent, 2 is because they're up here racing as hard as possible. They're putting on a show for the 100+ people who have tuned in for the fueling Kyle's fights with dirt plus determination here on the iRacing platform and right here on the AMSOIL Championship Off-Road YouTube channel. This has been phenomenal, and hey, it ain't over yet. We got more drivers that are starting to get into the fight. We got Kyle Cooper. He's coming into this in the 73. He's currently riding in the 5th place position, 1 second off our race lead. As you look at Keaton Swain, Gilbert, Arizona, back there in second, 2.5 seconds off for Connor Berry. He has an opportunity to get up there and mix this up too.
He could catch up if he gets the opportunity. But at the front of the field, Smith gets that 2nd place spot back in the Pro 4s. Side by side with Miles Cheek, who almost forces him into the barrier of that Polaris RCR banner. And now side by side again for 2nd place. Jared Brooks in the 77 wants to see that side by side in his mirror, wants to try and pull away, but Cheeks is going to clear Smith. Smith now back into the clutches of Matag as the Pro 2 of Berry watches on. Cooper trying to catch up to this group. Berry makes contact to the back bumper of Drake Matag, but he almost gets that pass made. He's trying to put the power down on those 2 wheels that are powering that Pro 2. Not going to quite work as well as if he was in a Pro 4, but he's got a chance to pass multiple trucks to the inside. He parks it in front of the 45, and to 3rd overall goes Berry.
At 3rd overall he goes, but the fight for the race lead, Miles Cheek has put his way into this conversation as we're still 3 wide for the overall 3rd place spot, and we'll throw the overall up there now because you were the only one that was expecting this. 2 trucks go wide. That's Matag. That's Smith go wide, and Smith has a problem. He's going to get passed by Keaton Swain as well. He'll drop to the 7th place position. He actually jumped the curb ever so slightly, lifted it on 2 wheels, and almost put that thing end over end. As you'll take a look at the replay right here.
Brent Smith gets up on 2 wheels, goes up on the berm, and hits the wall. Gets it back to the dirt and is able to keep on going. That's one thing about these off-road trucks, Terry. It's not like an Indy car. It's not even like the NASCAR stock cars that a lot of people will watch on Saturday nights and Sundays, or like the short track late models that you're used to calling. It is, aerodynamics do not matter. You got a fully working engine in that Pro truck, you're able to make moves on the racetrack.
able to make moves, and it has calmed down, but this is potentially the calm before the storm. As you see contact right there for the overall third place position. Matag through Connor Berry out of the way. Here comes Keaton Swain. He has the opportunity as well in the 21 to work his way up here and get overall position and the Pro 2 win.
This could get much more interesting as Keaton Swain has caught back up. He was much closer to Connor Berry, but that gap with now Brent Smith in between those two Pro 2 trucks is now going to bleed a little bit more life into this battle. Can Keaton Swain catch back up to the championship rival of the last 2 seasons, the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series? We are going to find out. I believe they are going on to take the white flag this time by. It will not be the checkered flag. It is white flag right about now for our current Pro 4 race leader of Jarrett Brooks.
Yeah, and Jared Brooks doing what he did in the last race,
flag?
And its checkered flag is out. Yeah, it's Jared Brooks getting the win. That was, that threw us all off there for a second.
Now, there is something unique about the way iRacing scores here at Crandon. That initial land rush start doesn't technically count as a lap, but what I'm thinking happened here, Terry, is that 12-minute maximum time was reached. So we actually reached time there, neither of us expecting it. We completely missed it, but the time limit was reached, the checkered flag flew, and 9 laps instead of 10, we end up with 2 winners, Connor Berry in the Pro 2s, Jarrett Brooks in the Pro 4s.
Yeah, you see drivers still out here throwing some laps, flipping the trucks around, trying to have just a little bit more fun on the old surface of Crandon. Yeah, this racetrack is just, I'm going to visit in real life and come watch one of these races just in person. I couldn't imagine seeing them land rush that much into the corner and all of these drivers trying to keep it off of each other. But what a race. What a way to end this one, and what a reason to come out here and race. These drivers don't, other than competing for championships and competing for trophies, right now they're competing to tell their friend, their competitor, their confidant, hey, we love you, and we love you a lot, and we're coming out here to have some fun, raise some money for you, and kick cancer's butt.
Some Sens monster truck style as well at one of the many hills here at Crandon.
Good Monster Jam reference for you there.
I had to get it in there at least once. But as we take a look now at your full finishing results from that second race, we'll get ready to talk with a good amount of our drivers from tonight's racing here in the Dirt Plus Determination Fueling Kyle's Fight event on the iRacing platform. Jarrett Brooks walks away with our Pro 4 win. Miles Cheek, Drake Matag, Kyle Cooper, and Brent Smith going to be your top 5. John Holker with Jeffrey Ives, Bo Ambos, and Logan Christensen rounding out the 9 drivers that took the green flag in the Pro 4s. Terry, the Pro 2s, Connor Berry was victorious.
Yeah, Barry gets it done. Keaton Swain, Zachary Drapkin, your top 3. Cam Peterson, Greg Johnson is 5th. Christopher Plumley, Sean Winkler, Crystal King back there in 8th with Nicholas Dachelette, and then Dylan Hunter. Your top 10 over there with Josh Edmondson, Luke Canup, and Trenton Briley. Having issues here going off the course, and for Trenton Briley, he just could not get it back on the racetrack.
So that's how they finished in race number 2, and that is both of our racing events concluded for the evening, and we'll get started with our post-race show and talk to a good solid amount of the drivers that competed here in the Dirt Plus Determination Fueling Kyle's Fight from iRacing's virtual Crandon International Raceway. And I think nobody better to really kick us off in the interview sector than our race number 2 Pro 2 winner, last night's champion of the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. It is none other than now 2-time in the number 2. It's Connor Berry, and we'll bring him up here into the broadcast booth. And Connor, what a last couple of days for you, and I want to touch on getting to talk to you for the first time after last night's championship. How was that championship celebration with you and the rest of the team?
Oh yeah, it's feeling good, and then we got back into the Pro 2 tonight so we could put on a show for Kyle. So I'm glad that we were able to come out here. But yeah, it's feeling good.
And now talking about tonight's racing that we had on the track. Of course, everybody coming out here to support Kyle Leduc, to support the USAC Racing Race Aid program. You came out here in the Pro 2 against many of your fellow sim racers and fellow real racers at that, you being a real world racer yourself, but running that Pro 2, how was it to get out here with all of the iRacing community and your real world off-road community and go racing for such a great cause?
Yeah, it was fun. Obviously the Pro 2 is harder, so the second race was good. The first one I was in like P7 and I got into the back of someone, so I did bad in that one, but we got a great start inside the second one and we got up to 5th, and I think we almost got in 3rd. Then we had a battle with Drake, who is inside a Pro 4, so I mean it definitely was fun. I had to go as fast. I was just trying hard. It definitely was tough only having 2-wheel drive, but I'm glad that we were able to put on a show, and hopefully everyone goes out and donates.
And congratulations on your race number 2 victory as well, Connor. And thanks for joining us here in the broadcast booth on AMSOIL Championship Off-Road and for being with us tonight. And again, congratulations on that race number 2 win.
Thank you.
Great to hear from our now champion, Connor Berry of the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. And we continue on now to one of our Pro 4 competitors. It was a better finish in the first race for Brent Smith, Terry, but you're standing by with him here in the post-race show.
Well, Brent, you had a very, very entertaining race for yourself there, and to be the voice and to come out here and to race with these guys, you definitely did an amazing job.
Thanks, man. I just love to drive in. I love to be a part of everything we have going with iRacing, and to get to run with Jarrett Brooks and Connor Berry and even Drake Matag. It felt like Drake and I had magnets on each other and we couldn't stay off of one another. I don't mean nothing by it. We were just trying to fight for that spot and trying to drive it Kyle Leduc style. He's just been one of my good buddies my whole life, and I look up to him and what he's going through, and just glad I get to fly his logo all weekend. And man, I had fun. It was breathtaking. I felt like I got shoved out at the end. Felt like we had a top 3 truck both races. But hey, it's all fun and games, and I just love to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, you had a good time. Any one of these drivers that you beat tonight with speed that you potentially go to the racetrack next and go, hey, by the way, I finished ahead of you in this race?
Well, I don't know. They're all good in their own way, and I love to get to race against one of them, and all of them today, especially like Jarrett Brooks. I mean, those guys are just some of the best in our sport, and when you idolize them and being the announcer, get to talk about them week in and week out, you kind of start to learn their driving style and learn from the booth, the way I like to call it. So I don't know, just glad to be here and can't thank everybody enough, and just thinking about Kyle and love that kid to death.
I absolutely understand. And Brent, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and I definitely love the work that you do over there on the Flow Sports channel to watch some of this off-road racing, and best of luck. Congrats on your 5th place finish.
Yeah, thank you. I just got to say thanks to all the 906 guys that we get in the Discord together. And I know Kyle Kleiman, it was his first time behind the wheel on iRacing, so can't say it very often that you beat Kyle Kleiman. So it was a good day, and he'll get really, really fast. I know that. And I got to give a shout out to my brother and everyone else that helps out in my other racing, and Shane Stetsney for being my partner in crime every weekend and week out in Champ Off-Road. And it's been amazing, and thank you so much, guys. I appreciate everything you guys do. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, sir. That's Brent Smith, driver of the 45 here tonight. Coming home in the 5th place position, Joshua Lee.
And we continue on with the post-race show, going from a real-world commentator and racer to one of the best in the sim. It's Cam Peterson. And Cam, it was, I want to say, first of all, from a personal note, great seeing you back on a racetrack. Haven't seen you a whole lot in the virtual world recently, but getting to see you head back onto the track, especially for such a good cause here at Crandon. I assume it had to have felt really good for you to get back racing just with your peers and for fueling Kyle's fight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great cause. It's a great time. never have the chance to really to race against guys like these guys like Matag and Jared Brooks and the like. So, and yeah, to knock the dust off a pro truck again feels pretty good. Definitely didn't do my best out there today, or the best I've done before. After this big update that the dirt trucks had, there's quite a big learning curve, but no, it was a blast out there. We should definitely be doing something like this again with the real lifers and against the sim pros, I guess we call ourselves. But those guys are the ones that really know how to drive these things. And so it was a great mix up and great idea by Josh Edmondson and the likes. And a very worthy cause.
We're not running in the virtual world all too often now. You definitely still held the candle to some of the best, running top 5 there in race number 2. But I mean, what does it mean to you as a virtual racer and doing some real world racing as well, to see the motorsport community, whether it's real, whether it's virtual, come together for such a great cause and fueling Kyle's fight, along with raising donations for the USAC Racing Race Aid program?
Oh, I mean, so much. I mean, when do we get to drive with guys like this, or when do they all come together all at once and for one good cause? It just never really happened. So to put all this together, it was a blast. And looking forward to hopefully doing this again sometime. It's been great refresher for me, at least. I haven't done this in quite some time, as you know. And this should definitely be maybe even an annual thing. Looking forward to an event like this in the future. This is one for the books.
Great talking to you again. Great seeing you on the track again, Cam. And wherever it is next, hope we get to see you on a track back sooner rather than later. Thanks for joining us here in the broadcast booth, and congratulations on your 2 finishes tonight.
Thanks so much. I just want to shout out you guys for, putting time towards this as well. And I know not everyone's schedule is so open. And that goes for the likes of all the drivers here today, everyone watching the broadcast, and the Sim Magic, and again, Josh Edmondson for putting this idea on and putting this together and stuff. So hats off to him. Thanks.
And thanks again for joining us here in the broadcast booth post-race. That's Cam Peterson from our Sim Racers tonight. And we continue on now back to the real world racers. It was 2 wins on the night in both races for real world racer Jarrett Brooks. Terry, you're standing by with him.
3-time Pro Lite champion, 3-time Pro 2 champion. What else have you done, sir? You've been an absolute legend across the board, and then you go out here and you sweep both of our races. How cool was this to race around your buddies on iRacing?
This was a blast, and to be able to do this before we actually go to Crandon next weekend is pretty awesome. And huge shout out to Kyle, man. I see the stuff he's going through, and I don't think any of us can imagine what that is or how that is on him or his family. So it's really cool that the sim guys get in on this, and then they invite. I'm not a really good sim guy, but I'm not terrible. But it's cool that they come out and put this on and really show support to Kyle.
Well, it's funny to say that you're not a quote-unquote sim guy, and you come out here and you were beating and banging door to door, wheel to wheel with every single one of the drivers that challenged you. You threw a good bit of sliders in there, and you made it all stick. And, well, for somebody who's not really good at the iRacing side of things, you sure did whoop up on them tonight going back to back.
Yeah, I am. I do. I used to, when I first got this sim, I would actually grind it out. But now it's a little tougher when you got the 4-year-old that just wants to jump on it with you. So overall, dude, I am pretty decent at the sim racing, but compared to Josh and Connor and all these top guys, I might as well just pack it up.
I feel that. I tried to race with him one time, and it didn't go too well for you. But congratulations on sweeping both the races, and we'll watch you at Crandon live on Flow Sports in just 1 week's time.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much, and this was a blast to do. I hope more pro drivers get these things, because I feel like these things are a huge help. Obviously, we can't go test at Crandon, so doing this, I think this is great practice. So overall, we're ready for next weekend.
That's what we like to hear. That's Jared Brooks, P1 in both races, Joshua.
And great to hear from our race 1 and number 2 winner tonight. But we move on with our post-race show, getting a lot of voices from our real world counterparts. And we continue on with Bo Ambos, who is joining us tonight in the 388. And Bo, on the virtual side of things, know you're a real world racer and multi-time winner in the light buggies and single buggies in the real world. But how much racing have you done in the iRacing service, especially recently on the track?
Well, recently, last day and a half, quite a bit. But I rarely do off-road. I do have a setup. I actually like the street racing, circuit racing better. I find it more enjoyable. But this was a good time, and hats off to Josh and Chris for putting it on, and yourself for hosting it. It was quite eventful. It was fun, and hopefully we the last turn, last lap there we made it a little bit more exciting.
Oh, you guys made it exciting at the front of both our Pro 4 classes in race number 1 and 2, but coming into the virtual world, getting the motorsports community together, both real and virtual, to really support a great cause of the USAC Racing Race Aid program and fueling Kyle's fight with cancer. What does it mean to you to come out here on a virtual track and do some racing for about an hour, run 2 races, and fight with some of the best in the real world virtually in some virtual trucks?
Well, to be honest with you, man, I did not know there were 2 races. I had no idea there were 2 races. I knew there was the first race. So in the second race, I was waiting for my interview. I had no idea there was a second race there. I just thought it was for fun, but it was for fun. The whole thing was fun. It, I think if we could make this work, be a little bit more, get more attention, you'd have a lot of drivers, that can get sponsorship exposure on the off season. That you can't offer, you know what I mean? You can only offer race time, this is when it's going to be out. But now there's another avenue that you have, that, hey, we can promote you year round. So I think for us sportsmen, it's very possible that it could be another avenue to acquire other more sponsors.
Well, thanks for joining us here in the broadcast booth in the post-race show, Bo, and congratulations on your race number 1 finish, a little bit better than race number 2, and that surprising land rush start, I'm sure, in that second race.
You got it, man. Thank you.
Great to hear from Bo Ambos here in the broadcast booth. And now we transition over, Terry, to Drake Matag, another driver that was up there battling at the front of the Pro 4s and 3rd place on the podium in race number 2. You're standing by with him.
Yeah, Drake, you seemed like you had a good time out here tonight, just like a lot of these other drivers. You were battling there with Mr. Smith. You were battling up there with Jared Brooks. A lot of fun happened tonight. Biggest takeaway from this race?
Yeah, I don't know. That was a lot of fun. I feel like there needs to be more of these more often. You see all these names, racing in real life, but then when it comes to the sim side, it's a lot of fun to battle with Jarrett. Me and Jarrett have known each other for a really long time. Him and my brother used to be on the same team, and it's cool that, I'm not quite in the Pro 2 where I could race all these guys, but it's cool to see them all here. Like Kleiman, Doug's, my older brother Doug racing the Pro 2 against him. It's just cool to, be able to race them and be the same speed as them.
Well, a lot of people have come up here and talked to us and said, we would love to have this in the off season. What's the best way you think that we can convince the championship off-road guys to, hey, why not let these drivers come race in the off season here on this YouTube channel and put something on for the fans that love off-road racing so much?
Yeah, it's definitely hard during the off season. You're like, we're working on our trucks or our UTVs, and we're working all off season, just waiting to get back into the action of racing and going door to door. I think if they were to sit down and watch some of the past races, like this recent championship with Connor Berry and all those guys, it's a lot of good battling, and I think it'd be really beneficial, and a lot of people would like it, I think.
I think we all would love it as off-road fans to see a lot of more faces come out and run these. But Drake Matag, congratulations on your P3 here tonight, and we're all racing for a good cause and announcing for a good cause as well. Best of luck to you down the road, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. That's Drake Matag, driver of the 518, Josh.
And we continue on in the post-race show in just a moment. And we'll continue on and we'll grab Miles Cheek here with us in the broadcast booth. And Miles, it was 2 good finishes from you in the Pro 4s, and you walk away with a second place finish there in race number 2. I think first question's got to be, how much racing do you do in iRacing and on a normal time, let alone practicing for this event over the last few days?
Honestly, I've been driving it a little bit more than I have been in the past, but once a week at the most probably, but I've only been doing asphalt stuff lately. I've been doing like the older F1 cars and that new Cadillac car that they just came out with, and honestly, I hopped on today like 5 minutes before the race, and I didn't even get to do the open practice. I got straight into the session practice, and man, I was like 2 seconds off the pace, and honestly kind of surprised myself, but once we got racing, just was able to hang with some guys and like actually see the racing lines a little bit quicker. So yeah, definitely surprised myself with that second place.
I mean, some solid finishes from you and some solid racing up there as well. What was it like to race in the virtual world with Jarrett Brooks, Drake Matag, Kyle Cooper? Brent Smith was up there racing with you guys a good bit as well, but not just racing against them, but racing for the USAC Race Aid program and fueling Kyle's fight in Dirt Plus Determination.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about. Bringing a little bit more spotlight to what's going on in Kyle's life right now, and try and get some extra funding or more people donating and all that. Trying to spread the word a little bit more. But yeah, that brought me back to my trophy cart days battling with Jarrett. That was so much fun.
And congratulations on your 2 solid finishes in the Pro 4 class. And we're glad that you're with us here on Dirt Plus Determination on the Amsoil Championship Off-Road YouTube channel. And thanks for joining us here post-race.
Oh yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
That was Miles Cheek finishing in the top 3 in both race number 1 and race number 2 tonight. And Terry will round out our post-race show by transitioning over to Kyle Clayman, who's standing by with you.
Yeah, Kyle Clayman gets it done here this afternoon, and I guess I'll follow up with a question that we've kind of asked everybody here. You do a ton of sim racing here to put yourself up to speed with the off-road machines before you go to the racetrack?
Honestly, that was like, I had like 20 laps of sim racing before I jumped into this event. So I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm getting into. It's way more intense than you think. I think it's like definitely a good tool for practicing in like real life and everything like that. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience. That's for sure.
Well, are you going to spend more time on the platform now that it's 60% off new members at iRacing.com? You have a whole lot of time to renew that subscription and stay with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I don't have one, so I actually use Jeff, a buddy of mine. So huge hats off to him. Thank you guys for kind of getting me into the event and doing everything. But I'm definitely probably gonna have to go buy one now. So yeah, it's went from no time to definitely looking forward to getting into the iRacing.
Well, we look forward to having you. The best part of iRacing is the members itself, and to hear that you're going to go get you a membership, like I said, it's iRacing.com 15th anniversary. We're 15 years old today, by the way.
Man, that's crazy. How long you guys been out? And I haven't tried it. That's kind of
shame on you.
Shame on myself, not gonna lie. Yep.
Well, we're happy to have you on the iRacing platform and really glad that you got to come race in this event. We look forward to seeing you in hopefully many other events. We do have an off-road world championship you could potentially win as well.
Absolutely. That would be something to really look forward to. And once we get a setup going, you'll definitely see me out there. Appreciate it.
Just go get you a Fanatec wheel because it is the official wheel and pedal set of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. That's Kyle Clayman. He gets it done here racing on somebody else's setup, Josh.
And racing on somebody else's account as well. And we're glad that he, along with all of our other real world racers, can join us tonight. And Terry, to put a bookend on this entire night, yes, we saw some exciting racing. Yes, we saw some of the best of the real world go head to head with the best of the virtual world and Pro 2s and Pro 4s around one of the most legendary off-road tracks in the world. But we also raised money for the USAC Racing Race Aid program. We also helped fuel Kyle's fight. And we hope that Kyle Leduc, 7-time champion of the off-road series, can get back to the racetrack sooner rather than later. But the motorsports community, both in iRacing and in Amsoil Championship Off-Road, came together tonight with one goal, and I think that goal was met.
I definitely think the goal was met. You heard all the drivers make sure to mention Kyle in their post-race interview. You saw the fans showed up in drones. We had over 100+ people tuning in. People were sharing the stream on social media. A lot of buzz went around this one, and this is all for Kyle. Nothing to do with the racing we saw here, nothing to do with anything else other than raising money for a great cause for Kyle to get better. We want to see him back at the racetrack. We want to be able to watch him compete for his 8th championship and come back stronger than he was after 7 times. It's crazy to think that somebody could come back better, and we hope that Kyle is that reason to bring him back, and Crandon never disappoints.
Crandon never disappoints in the real world and in the virtual world alike. Here in the virtual world, there's so much more coming up in the world of iRacing, specifically in off-road. We just wrapped up the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series. You can see the results on iRacing.com. If you want the oval side of things, the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series is in their playoffs. They'll be racing at virtual Dover on Tuesday. The World of Outlaws Butt Kicker Late Model Series powered by iRacing with Terry Radford on commentary. We'll be at the Eldora Speedway. They're wrapping up their season, and 60% off brand new memberships if you go to iRacing.com for the iRacing 15th anniversary special. That special won't be lasting for much longer. So if you want to take part in the iRacing service, if you want to run some laps virtually on Crandon, Bark River, Wild West, or Wild Horse Pass in the Pro 2 Lights, Pro 2s, or Pro 4s, there is no better time to join iRacing. Next up, for the AMSOIL Championship Off-Road Series presented by the U.S. Air Force is the Polaris World Championship from the real-world counterpart of Crandon International Raceway on September 1st and September 2nd. We'll be watching on Flow Racing, and we hope that you'll be watching too. For everybody behind the scenes to put this event on, I've been your host, Joshua Lee, and alongside Terry Radford, we have been your commentary team tonight, and we thank you for tuning in to the AMSOIL Championship Off-Road YouTube channel for the first ever broadcast of iRacing. We're saying good night from virtual Crandon, and good night from Dirt Plus Determination fueling Kyle's fight. We hope to see Kyle Leduc back on our racetrack soon, and we hope to see you joining the virtual driver's seat on iRacing.